If I told you that a perfect life is a lie, would you believe me? What if I said the life you envy so much is actually hollow inside? And if I told you I've lived that lie myself, maybe you'd want to hear my story till the end. My name's Alex. I'm 31. From the outside, my life looked perfect. Big house, fancy car, a good job, and a happy life plastered all over social media. People used to say, "Man, your life is all set." But the truth? Every night before bed, I felt empty. Like even with everything around me, something really important was missing. At first, I thought it was just tiredness. Work stress, maybe. But slowly, that feeling grew deeper. Every day I smiled, but it was fake. I remember one day at work. Everyone was laughing, joking around, and I was laughing with them. But inside, I was completely numb, like my feelings had vanished. That's where my story begins. A story where I had everything, yet completely lost myself. There was a girl in my life, Sophia. From the outside, our relationship looked perfect too. We hung out, posted pictures, people called us couple goals. But were we really happy? I never asked myself that. Or maybe I was too scared to. Slowly, I started feeling like we were just a habit to each other. Love wasn't really there anymore. But we stayed together because everyone thought we were happy. And honestly, sometimes we pretend to be happy just to keep others fooled while we stay unhappy inside. One night, I was sitting alone in my room with my phone, scrolling through pictures of myself, smiling, looking happy. Then this question hit me. If this is all true, then why do I feel so empty inside? That's when something inside me started breaking. I didn't know then that this question would change my entire life. Because what was about to happen in the next few days would force me to face the biggest lie of this perfect life. And honestly, I wasn't ready for that truth at all. Over the next few days, I started observing myself more. What do I feel? When am I happy? When am I sad? I tried to figure it all out, but the more I tried, the more confused I became. Is this really my life? Or am I just living someone else's expectations? One day, Sophia asked me, "What's wrong? You're not the same anymore." I smiled and said, "Nothing, just work stress." But the truth was, I was drifting away from myself. Then one day, something happened that shook me to the core. I was home alone. The whole house was silent. Such a big house, but no sound at all. I looked around. Everything was there. But at that moment, I realized this house wasn't a home. It was an empty box, and I was trapped inside it. Have you ever felt like that? When you have everything, but you're still not happy? That day, for the first time, I told myself the truth. I am not happy. Saying those words wasn't easy, but the moment I admitted it, something inside me shifted. That night, I called Sophia. I wanted to meet her. We met at a cafe, the same place where we first met. Everything was the same, except us. I asked her, "Are you happy?" She was silent for a few seconds, then said, "I don't know." Her answer hit me hard, because I thought maybe I was the only one feeling this way. But the truth was even deeper. We were both living a lie of a perfect life. And that day, for the first time, we admitted that even together, we were lonely. But the real question was still there. Now what? Do we keep living this lie? Or do we face the truth? That's when my life took a turn, one I never imagined. Because sometimes, knowing the truth is easy, but accepting it is the hardest part. And I was about to take that difficult step. Sitting in that cafe, We were silent, sometimes looking at each other, sometimes looking away. It was an awkward silence, but within it, the truth was hiding. I quietly said, "Maybe neither of us is truly happy." Sophia bowed her head and just said, "Maybe." That maybe was the biggest answer, because when certainty ends in a relationship, all that's left is maybe, and that maybe slowly breaks everything apart. I asked her, "Then why are we still together?" She thought for a moment, then said, "Because everyone thinks we're perfect." Hearing that broke something inside me. Were we really living for others? Were our happiness just a show? And the biggest question, did we ever truly love each other? That day, we didn't make any big decisions. We didn't break up. But something had changed. Now we both knew the truth. And when the truth comes out, the lie can't last long. The next few days got weirder. We talked, but not from the heart. We met, but there was no connection. Like two people walking the same path, but headed to different destinations. Then one night, I asked myself a question. Can I keep living this lie? My heart said right away, no. But my mind said, if you leave this all behind, then what will be left? That fear held me back, because facing the truth meant losing everything. The relationship, the image, that perfect life. But was all that really mine? Or just a facade? And that's where my biggest battle began. On one side was the life. That made people say, wow. And on the other, the truth. I was hiding from myself. I didn't know then that the choice I was going to make would break me completely. But within that, my real beginning was hidden. Because sometimes, to find yourself, you have to lose everything first. And I was about to step onto that path, from which there was no turning back. That night, I couldn't sleep. The same question kept spinning in my head. Am I really happy? And every time, the answer was the same. No. At dawn, I made a decision. I messaged Sophia. We need to talk. One last time. We met in that park, where we used to sit for hours. But today, everything was different. The air was the same. The place was the same. But nothing between us was the same. I said straight, we're not happy. And now we both know it. Tears welled up in Sophia's eyes, but she said nothing. Maybe she had the same fear that I was running from. I went on. Maybe it's time to end this. Saying those words felt like breaking myself. A few seconds of silence. Then she softly said, maybe you're right. That was it. No drama, no anger, just a calm ending. But inside, I was shattered. Was this the right decision? Or had I lost everything? That question ate me up inside. After that day, everything changed. No more relationship. No more perfect couple image. People on social media started asking, what happened? But I had no answers, because the truth was simple. We weren't happy. But telling the world that isn't easy. And honestly, it took me time to even convince myself. At night, when I came home, the emptiness grew deeper. No messages, no calls, just me and my truth. Was this the life I was searching for? Or had I made a mistake? Then I realized, when you leave a lie behind, all you get at first is emptiness. But maybe that emptiness is what brings you face to face with yourself. And I was right there in that emptiness, where my real story was about to begin. The days after the breakup were the hardest. I woke up every morning and had no desire to do anything. No passion for work, no interest in talking to anyone. I locked myself in my room, Phone on silent, social media off, like I had cut myself off from the world. But the real fight wasn't outside. It was inside. The same memories, the same moments, and the same question. Will I be alone forever? Loneliness. Sounds small when you say it, but it breaks you from within. But here's another truth I found. I was alone before too. The only difference was, before I had a show for the world, and now I had the truth, and truth always hurts. One day I stood in front of the mirror. I looked at myself, and for the first time, I asked myself an honest question. What do you really want? I was silent for a few seconds. Then a voice inside said, peace. No money, no fame, just inner peace. And in that moment, I understood. I'd been chasing the wrong things my whole life. I got everything the world calls perfect, but I lost myself. And that's the biggest lie. That external things will make you happy. No. Happiness comes from within. And if there's emptiness inside, no outside thing can fill it. After that day, I started working on myself. Small steps, like walking alone, spending time with myself. It felt weird at first, but slowly, I began to understand myself, and that's when a new feeling emerged. Maybe I'm not broken. Maybe I'm just rebuilding myself. But I didn't know then that what was coming next would completely change how I think, because there was still one truth left that I needed to face. A few weeks later, I started feeling a little better. Every day I was changing, bit by bit. I learned to sit with myself, without fear, without running away. Then one day, I saw Sophia again. She was at a mall, with her friends, laughing, just like before. That moment brought a strange feeling inside me. Is she truly happy? Or is she doing the same thing we used to do? I didn't go to her. I just watched from afar and walked away. But that day, another question hit me. Is happiness just a feeling or a show? And that question made me think again. Are we all living fake lives where we look happy, but we're not? I started noticing people around me. At work, on the street, on social media, everyone looked happy. But were they really? Or just pretending? And then I realized the perfect life is just an idea sold to us, a dream we follow without thinking. But that dream has no guarantees, because happiness is different for every person. And if you copy someone else's life, you'll never be truly happy. That day, I made a decision. I will live my life on my own terms, not to impress anyone, not to meet anyone's expectations, just for myself. And that's when I felt true freedom for the first time. But the real change was still ahead. Because understanding yourself is one thing, accepting it fully is another. And I was in the middle of that journey, where every day taught me something new. Slowly, my life started changing. I stopped comparing myself to others, kept my distance from social media, and most importantly, I started accepting myself. I used to think you need everything to be happy, but now I understood. To be happy, you just need to be with yourself. One day, I went back to that park, where I talked to Sophia for the last time. I sat on that same bench and quietly looked up at the sky. Everything was calm, and in that calm, I felt peace for the first time. No emptiness, no fear, just a small smile. And then I realized, I am healing. But this journey wasn't easy. Old thoughts would come back. Loneliness would surround me again. But now I didn't run away. I understood those feelings, felt them, and slowly, they faded away on their own. And here I learned the most important thing. You can't run away from your feelings. You have to understand them and then move forward. And that's real growth. Now I get it. There's no such thing as a perfect life. Every life has problems. Every person fights something inside. The only difference is some hide it and some accept it. And those who accept it are the ones who truly live. That's what I want now. Not lies, but to live with the truth. And maybe that's real happiness. But the story isn't over yet, because the truth I learned needed to be shared, so no one else makes the mistakes I did. Today, when I look back at my life, one thing is clear. I was never truly unhappy. I was just looking for happiness in the wrong places. I was chasing the perfect life and lost my real happiness. But when I let go of that lie, that's when I found the truth. And the truth is, happiness isn't a destination. It's a feeling. That comes only when you're honest with yourself. Today, I might not have as much as before, no big house, no showy life, but I have something else. Peace. And honestly, that's worth more than any perfect life. If you're listening to this story, ask yourself one question. Am I really happy? And if the answer is no, don't be afraid, because that's your real beginning. Truth is always scary, but it's also what sets you free. I took that step despite the fear, and today I feel closer to myself than ever. And maybe that's what life is really about. Not being perfect, not impressing others, but being true to yourself. And if you can do that, believe me, you'll never need a perfect life, because then your life will truly be yours. And that's the biggest victory of all.